Hello everybody and welcome to my humble abode's Centre of Excellence, the kitchen, where I dream up all manner of wonderful curries, all from first principles. The reason I'm in the kitchen today is because I have some little hints and tips for you on the consumer side of things, which I thought I might share with you, and which I think you might find a little bit interesting. At least I hope you will. Now, the subject of my first little consumer hotspot is this. Power bleach. I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. A relatively recent invention, and the great thing is you can use it upside down. It sprays foam into the rim of your toilet or wherever you want to. By the way, can I just add in, do not let your junior members of the family do any of this that I'm showing you now on your behalf. Adults only, okay? Anyway, you're familiar with this. And the catch with this is the price. Not the cheapest item on the block. Does a very good job, I can't knock it. And how it works is very simply, the top piece here, you can see there's 3 little different chambers, and the way the bleach goes into it, when you press the trigger, it aerates the bleach, and that is what produces the foam. Because as anybody knows, if you try and get tea stains out of a cup and you put a drop of bleach in with some water, always use cold water, by the way, because hot water reduces the efficacy of bleach. Keep that in mind. But when you do that and you give it a quick stir in the cup to try and get rid of your tea stains, it foams up. And that's all this is a development of when all's said and done. But as you can see, it comes at a price. I'm not knocking the product, but I'm knocking the price. Now, this standard bottle of thick bleach. Thick bleach, believe it or not, was an invention of a gentleman called Alan Hanbury in the suburb of Sundrive in the city of Dublin. And how he did this is beyond me, but he discovered that by putting salt into bleach, it made it thick. But sadly for Alan, he didn't patent it. So of course we see thick bleach all over the place at quite a price. Quite a cheap price, I might add. As you can see from this, you can buy it either in thrift shops from anything as low as 59, 60p, all the way up to the premium brands that are just a little bit over £1. And I've got the illustrations on here as to the pricing structure. What you do is, when you finish with this, keep it. Take the wrapping off carefully, and you can produce this. And as you can see, what it is a mixture of is 33% thick bleach, topped up with water, and hey presto, you have your own thick bleach, foaming thick bleach. And you've maintained the top here, so you can tip it upside down and use it. And it's, as you can see there, quite considerably less. So not only are you not throwing this away into recycling, or if you're lazy, throwing it into your black bin, but you're reusing your single-use plastic once more and saving money to boot. And as a couple of secondary warnings, aside from not letting your juniors play with bleach, please do make sure you label any blank bottles correctly, that they are actually containing bleach. And the second thing is, keep them away from your clothing, because all you'll get with splashes are those lovely little white circles with sort of bleachy, orangey things around that'll ruin your clothing. Next thing I'd like to investigate is the National Lottery. Love it or loathe it, it's here and it's doing good work for great causes, but like anything else, it comes at a price. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed on the actual app for the National Lottery, I just do 5 lucky dips for the Thunderball on a Saturday night. That's my entire expenditure during the week. But I've noticed that should you win perhaps something and you get £20 clocking into your account with the lotto, and you do the lottery then the following week, if you're not careful, you can spend that entire £20 despite the fact you only want to spend 5. What they've done is, and this applies not only to Thunderball that I do, but also to the actual National Lottery itself and the Euros, and I believe possibly the Set for Life, is that when you click your lucky dips or your regular tickets and you press purchase, the app defaults to filling in all 4 days of the Thunderball. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday. So if you're not careful and you've got £20 sitting there thinking it's going to last you for 4 weeks' games, you're very much mistaken, because if you don't click or slide the sliders across to switch it off just to pick the Saturday night you want to play, you're going to get charged for the same tickets again for the remaining 3 Thunderballs of the week, or the main lotteries, or Euro Millions. That's a bit sneaky. They shouldn't be doing that, in fairness, when all's said and done. The other thing I want to just bring up as well, which has somewhat niggled me, is the amount of advertising for the lottery. I mean, it could be you. You've not got a chance, mateys. No, it won't be you. The odds are ridiculous, which I'm going to explain now shortly when I come out of my little cooking haven and get back to the computer to show you what I'm talking about. Yes, the odds are quite horrendous in terms of actually winning something. It's 145 million to 1 chance of you winning Euro Millions, and it's 45 million to 1 chance of you winning the National Lottery. Those odds are not good, let's be honest. And the other argument is that maybe, yes, it's lovely. I'd love to win £45 million. To be honest, I really wouldn't know what to do with it. I would, in fairness, go out on a charity thing and really try and help the homeless to a greater degree than is being done at the moment. But there's an awful lot of money awash in the National Lottery, which might or might not annoy you, I don't know. If we take 2017 to 2020, the National Lottery spent £115 million on marketing and advertising, hence the reason you see all these adverts. And they spent £45 million advertising the brand in 2020-2021. I personally think they should lower the number of balls in the actual lottery and lower the prizes. I mean, I'd be perfectly happy with winning £1 million. In fact, I get very excited when I win £30 on the ordinary lottery. So the idea that people want to win large is really just a load of nonsense that they have actually brainwashed us into thinking that, yes, you've got a chance of winning £45 million. Yes, you've got a real chance of winning £135 million. No, you haven't. It just doesn't work that way. Right, let's nip over and have a look at the odds in more detail. Looking at the standard lotto, which again, like the Euro Millions, is held twice a week, you can see the odds there are really not much better. I mean, you've got a 1 in 144,415th chance of winning £1,750. I mean, those odds are ridiculous. And again, even for matching 4 balls, you've got only a 1 in 2,180 chance of winning just £140. Now, to me, those odds are just ridiculous. Why are we falling for this? Each draw in and each draw out. It's just utterly ridiculous. Now to the Euro Millions. This particular screen just represents an averaged out number of winnings over, say, several months. And as you can see, the odds are not exactly wonderful when you look at it. I mean, there's a 1 in 986 chance you will win £10.78. Now, I'm not one to encourage gambling, but if you went to a bookmaker's and put £1 on a horse at, say, 16 to 1, you're going to win £17, and that race might just have 8 horses in it. You see where I'm coming from? On the other hand, we've taken an accumulator bet on horse racing, where you bet on a horse in the first race that you choose, then put the winnings from that on the second, and then on the third and the fourth. You state it as an accumulator. You stand a chance of winning £360 from a mere pound investment. That having been said, however, please, I'm not advocating you should go into the bookies and enrich their bank accounts any more so than any other form of gambling. Gamble aware and gamble responsibly. And now, the final part of this particular video, we're going to look at a few of the little tricks that the supermarkets use to try and fool you that you're getting something that's really fabulous, when you're not really. You're just getting the same old rubbish repackaged or renamed. We'll have a look at that now in detail. Now, another ruse that has gained popularity over the past few years is that of the limited edition. Now, how something that is mass-produced by a manufacturer can be a limited edition is just beyond reasoning. And the fact that some very cheap items, £1 or £2, are being classed as limited editions is utterly ridiculous. Sometimes you find, like in the case here of Marmite, a limited edition goes completely wrong and nobody wants it. So in essence, a limited edition is a great way of doing market research that gets you, the customer, to pay for it instead of the brand forking out money and having a talking shop to discuss the product before they release it. You have to bear in mind that something like a cleaning product or some toilet paper or sweets, as a limited edition, this is utterly, totally facile. It adds zero added value to the actual product itself, which probably works no better than the non-limited, or in other words, unlimited edition that sits on the shelves 12 months of the year. And laughingly, these limited editions are made to be used and thrown away. By the way, just listen to these facts and figures about actual places selling products in the UK. There's 107,000 wholesalers, 34,500 independent stores, 2,683 branded high street discounters, and 32,000 supermarkets. Now, if they just took 2 trays of, say, 24 products each of a limited edition something, that's some 7 million items. Yes, very limited edition. Just don't be fooled. Another marketing ploy that is being increasingly used by brands is tagging the word pro. Well, it's not the word, pro stands for professional to some of their products. I suppose the greatest one of those has always been Oral-B and their toothpaste. They don't seem to have any ordinary toothpaste nowadays. It's all pro. The main people falling over themselves to force pro things down our throats that aren't pro are the mobile phone companies. Every single phone you buy now is a pro. I just don't get it. What's so professional about a mobile phone? It's not as if the phone zombies who wander around town with their heads stuck in their life-saving social media 24 hours a day, they'd watch anything with a screen on it. It doesn't just have to be something pro. So what they're trying to tell you is that as a happy customer of toothpaste and mobile phones and earbuds, anything you've been using that's not pro is just amateur. However, with electronics, yes, there might be a slight difference between the Pro. It might be slightly bigger or have a couple of little extra add-ons to it, but the innards are very well much the same, and you're being conned. Just don't fall for this Pro nonsense. There is nothing professional about a phone, because I certainly have only been using an amateur phone up to now, and it's worked perfectly well. So by tagging a product as pro, they're not really adding any extra value, so just don't be conned. Another ruse that some of the manufacturers are using now is flashing their packs with either Big Pack or Mega Pack. Now, Kellogg's in particular have been very naughty because their current flashed Big Packs are actually, if you roll back a few months, the packs that the Big Packs have replaced were actually up to 10% bigger than the current Big Packs, and that's before they started flashing them with Big Packs. Not very nice. And also, Kellogg's, you'll find they don't have a price on their packets in the supermarket, yet they do have a price on the ones in your local corner shop. And the price of a Kellogg's product in your local corner shop can be anything up to 40% more expensive than in a supermarket. Now, yes, you want to save money, but is that fair on the corner trader who's open all hours 7 days a week? I don't think so. And then we've got, as I say, the laundry and other cleaning product manufacturers. They've started flashing Mega Pack all over their products. Now, if you look carefully, they have got some products that are perhaps of a larger quantity and volume than the previous ones. But again, they are replacing these with these mega packs at a cost. And if you roll back a few months, you'll find that pro rata, the cost of the previous product is actually cheaper than their new mega packs. So the absolute message there is shop carefully. Don't be fooled by fancy flashings telling you it's mega packs, special offers, limited edition, leading products. Go with your gut feeling and buy what you know is best value for you. If necessary, you've always got your phone with you. As I see around supermarkets, people have their heads stuck in them and they haven't got shopping lists on them. Get that calculator out and compare costs of products. Well, thank you very much for joining me. That's today's Grumpy Old Git video done. I'll be looking at more consumer aspects over the coming weeks. Sorry it's a bit hodgepodge and hiddly-piddly, but when I started my rambles out and about, they became, I won't say they became overpopular, but a lot of people liked them and I enjoy doing it. And to be honest with you, I'd rather be out there doing something to enjoy myself with, because now that I've retired, it's nice to have some hobbies. But the funny thing is, since I've retired, I wish I could go back to work. I've never been as busy as in my life. And it's not earning any money, but I'm just busy. But thank you very much for watching. Take care and be well.